Hello social media. Today I'm coming with another video on Connect.Qualify.Commit, and as you see today I have the title is The Only Thing Consistent in Life. Okay, so oftentimes we just go through life and we're just content about life in itself, or we're complaining about life. So today I want to talk about change. So if there's one thing that is always consistent in life, that is change. Things change in our household all the time, change in our families, there's change in our jobs, there's change in our careers, our career paths, there's change in our finances, there's change in our vehicles. For many of y'all who've seen me lately, I've had change in my vehicles. And so change in our faith, change in, all those changes that we experience, those things often change our emotions, they change our way of living, they change the way we eat, they change the way we sleep, they change the way we take care of ourselves. And because of all of that change, we're doing maybe one or three things. One, two, or three things. So we're either complaining, we're either numb or just not changing, or we're either saying that we have faith that it'll be okay. So the question is, what are we doing about the change in our life? So every day we experience change. Things happen. Life changes. What are we doing about the change in our life? Hello, whoever's joined so far. What are we doing with the change in our life? Today I'm talking about, the only consistent thing in life, which is change. So what are we doing to handle the change in our life? What are we doing? I'm not sure who's looking. I can see somebody's on here, but I'm not sure who it is. So we're talking about change, the things that we're going through in our life. What do we do with change in our life? Do we sit around and we complain? Do we remain content and numb and just not do anything? Or do we, just keep faith and thinking, we know it's going to be okay? But even with that, what are we doing to change it? Are we doing anything? Are we taking action to create change in our life? So this video won't be too long, but I am going to create a challenge for everybody who is watching. So the challenge I'm gonna put out there, I'm even giving it to myself because I've actually started with action. So I don't know if anyone's heard of the book called The Year of Yes. So I've been talking about this book to a lot of different people lately. And so the book of Year Yes is by Shonda Rhimes, and the book is about Shonda, who was having a conversation with her sister, and her sister says she never says yes to anything. If you don't know who Shonda Rhimes is, if you've ever heard of How to Get Away with Murder or Scandal or Greg's Anatomy, she is the writer for all of those shows. And so when I wasn't really reading the book. I was listening to the book because I have Audible. So I was listening to the book, and her sister said, you never say yes to anything. So what her sister meant by that is that Shonda always denied, like she was like, I'm not going to do that. I'm not going to do that. It's just not who I am. I'm not going to do that. And so what Shonda decided to do is say yes to anything that would scare her. So anything that she was fearful of, anything that was out of her norm, what she decided to do is change the way she responded to life. So that really touched home for me. When I looked at that book, I was like, gosh, this book is so me. Because sometimes when change happens in our lives, we don't change with the changes going on in our lives. And we kind of become numb. Or we have faith that things are going to change. We have the faith that things are going to change. But really, faith faith means to take action. Hey, India. So in faith and taking action, that helps us go into a place of changing with our life. As I listened to the book, she talked about different areas in her life. So she decided to say yes to various things that she was fearful of, she wouldn't normally do. It was outside of her comfort zone. So this video, me doing videos, is one of the things I said yes to. So my challenge to you all, what would you say yes to? Instead of, oftentimes we can get really like into life to where we just either complain, we get numb and still, or we just don't do anything at all. Or we say, oh, it's going to be okay. It's going to be all right. It's going to work itself out. God's got me. All things work together for my good, But really, God really wants us to, take action. And so, what are we doing to take action? So without, life constantly is changing, constantly is changing. So what are we doing to create change, to go with the change? What are we doing to get out of our comfort zone and do something different? What are we doing? It really takes faith, and faith means action. It doesn't mean just belief. It means action. My apostle spoke about this yesterday in church, and faith is really a call to action. If we say we have faith, but we're not doing anything, that we really don't have faith. We're just have belief. Belief in something that may not, take place. And if we're not moving into action, and the Bible says faith without works is dead. So that means that we have to move into a different place so that that faith can be activated. So for those, hello everybody who's joined. I see Wanda, Terrell, Sarita, and Marie. Hello everybody who just recently joined. But what I'm talking about, the only thing that's consistent in life is change. And so I am calling an action, I'm doing an action call for people to step out of what they normally do when it comes to the change in life. Every day we experience change, and most likely we're probably doing the same, we're having the same responses to change. So our life changes daily, and more than likely we're probably doing the same things in life daily in response to change. And so I am calling an action to everybody who's looking at this video to do something different. So if you're used to complaining about, well, I'm not getting paid enough, then do something about it. Go find another job. Apply for another job. Explore a business venture. Go out to eat less more and invest that money into business. Well, my kids aren't acting right. Well, take a look. What's going wrong? Are you spending enough time with your kids? Are you doing, are you being mindful about what the things you're saying to them? I mean, what is it that you're doing in your household that is causing these things to happen? Take a look at yourself. Many people may have seen me do mirror moments doing mirror moments on my post sometimes. And so what those mirror moments are, they're actually supposed to symbolize us looking at ourselves. So the mirror moment is taking a moment to look at yourself and see what you're doing. Sometimes that we can often blame life and our surroundings for the way our life is going. But honestly, 9 times out of 10, it's us. Even myself, I have to look in the mirror a whole lot sometimes. And I have to see, what is it that I am doing that caused my life to be in this way? So, just for an example, this past week, I just dedicated the first week of the 8th month, which is a month of new beginnings. I dedicated the first week of this month to be my vacation. Everybody asked me, what are you going to do on your vacation? I said, no, God, I'm not going anywhere. I'm going to stay home. I'm going to get rid of everything that I don't need. I am going to clean my life up so that I can be prepared for all that God has for me. That was my plan for vacation for a week. And guess what? I did it. However, I did have some adversity to come into place. You know, this past week, my car was declared total loss, really. My neighbor hit my car, and oh gosh, outside you would think it would be fixable, but when even like starting the car up, it was bad. So I could have allowed that to take over me emotionally. However, I had a plan set in place for the first week of the first month, first week of the 8th month, which is my new beginning. And I was going to let anything get in the way of that. And so instead of sitting around complaining, I laughed. So I laughed about it because I thought it was kind of funny that, you know, one, that this is not the first time this man has done that. 2, it happened to me. 3, my husband has been trying to get me to get rid of my car for a while now. And I was like, well, now I have a down payment. So, I mean, change always happens in our lives. Even when we have a plan in place, change always happens in our lives. And it's just how we respond to it. You know, what are we going to do? What are we going to do to take action and not sit around and become numb or complain? And I was really stressed out about finding another car that I wanted. So I was even being my husband for a very short period of time. And then, you know, God took over, and I started to sing. You know, the Lord just, he dropped songs in my spirit. I just started singing, making my breakfast, just started singing, you know. And so, and then you know, all of a sudden I just felt the need to sit down because I had just been going. So I just sat down, and he gave me a plan. And that plan worked. My husband was very pleased with that plan, even after I was being mean to him. So, you know, it's how we respond to change that determines our outcomes. I mean, you can really, you know, things can happen where it can cause confusion and cause, you know, the plan that you have in place to get out of order. Things happen, change happens all the time. So it's really up to us to determine what we want to do about change. And so, yes, India, I'm looking at some of your comments. Find another job. Thank you, Nanette. These people don't understand what you can do to make confusion in the house. Yes, you know, he definitely can bring confusion, but, you know, you have to take that time out to check yourself. Hey, Amber, you know, check yourself, because I had to check myself too, because, you know, all that stuff going on, I was just like, I was getting frustrated, and I was like, okay, Portia, get it together. And I had to pray and get myself together. And so, and it worked, but I had to take control of myself, so I didn't allow the situation to take control of me, because I could have been totally out of whack. I could have been not productive at all during the time this past week when I had the plan to clear my life, clear some things in my life so that I can be prepared for all that God has for me. And so this 8th month, I was like, you know, I'm ready to get in there and do all that, you know, I need to do so I can reap the benefits of it. So yeah, so I'm gonna put a challenge out for those who have just got on. My challenge to you all again is to do something different. Take action. Respond to change differently. If something happens that's unexpected is going on in your life, don't react to it. Respond to it. And sometimes that responding takes looking in the mirror. Having a mirror moment, looking at yourself. Okay, what did I do wrong? What do I need to change? You know, what is God saying in this matter? What is going on in my life that I need to change? Well, how can I control? I can't probably control the situation, but I can control me. And so it takes you taking a look at yourself and saying, what can I do to make the situation better? So and that goes for relationships too. So if there's always going to be change in relationships. It doesn't matter what kind of relationship it can be. A relationship with a coworker, it can be a relationship with your sibling, it can be a relationship with your parents, it can be a relationship with your spouse, because all of those relationships are going to go through changes. And if you can't learn how to respond to the changes instead of reacting to them, there's going to be a lot of chaos, a whole lot of chaos, and it's unnecessary. When we can learn to respond by taking control of ourselves and say, okay, I have to learn how to control myself in this matter, and not for me to make the situation worse, because things happen, and sometimes we just don't have control over them, and we just have to learn how to respond to change. Whatever it is, respond to change. And if you feel like, okay, well, this happened and I don't have the money to fix it, or this happened, and I'm not in a position to do this, or I'm gonna be by myself, okay, God may be calling you to be by yourself at this moment, because He may want to speak to you about something. He may want you to change something about yourself. So things happen for a reason, and life is always teaching us lessons but we have to be open to receive those lessons and to understand what those lessons are about. Because if we're still caught up in our emotions, we cannot understand what this change is trying to do to us in our life. It could be the worst thing that's ever going on in your life, like, I don't know, a divorce, or you lose a car, or you don't get paid the amount you're supposed to normally get paid this week. Anything can happen. Life throws us those things, and we just have to learn to change. I feel like I got off on a tangent somewhere, but that was for somebody. So the important thing is to learn to to go with the flow of life, and which is change. And so the call to action that I'm restating this for those people who are just getting on. The call to action that I'm doing now is to take action in your life, and go with the flow of life by changing something, doing something out of the norm, so that you can create change in our life. Because we can get too comfortable in life and start complaining about things that are not going right, or we can just wallow in our mess and never change and we should always want to get better. Always want to get better. If you don't want to get better, oh my gosh. And I'm not speaking of better as far as obtaining things, like obtaining cars or clothes or houses and stuff like that, but get better on the inside. Because internally, if we don't get better, we can't even be able to enjoy or what's the word I'm looking for? We can't enjoy or I can't say the right word, but anyways, we can't enjoy the things that we obtain, and we can't be responsible. That's the word I'm looking for. Even if we obtain those things, we won't be responsible enough to keep them. And so that can be a position on your job, that can be a new business, it can be a car, it can be a house, or a relationship. So just because we obtain things doesn't mean that we're ready to hold on to them or be responsible enough to hold on to them. So always take a look at yourself and how you can change and be better. That's my call of action. Again, I'm saying it again for those who are just getting on. My call to action is to do something that you would never have done before to create change in your life. So get out of your comfort zone and say yes to change. Even if it scares you, say yes to change. And so let me go back and look at some of your messages, see what I've missed. Yes, Miss Wanda. Thank you, India. Hello, Alan and Crystal. So that's my call to action to you all, is do something you've never done before. And, faith, as I mentioned before, faith is action. It's not just believing that something's going to change. Faith is doing something until it changes. Or doing something in an act of faith that it will change. So, I'm not going to keep you all long today. If anybody has any questions, I'm open to answering them. I hope this is really good for you all. I hope that, that you no longer keep doing the same things over and over and over and over, but you learn to change and take the steps necessary to do something different in your life. That's my call to action to you and to myself. I've remained committed to it by continuously doing something that scares me, doing something that I've never done before, and sticking with it. And God has showed himself to me tremendously, because I've done something. I've stepped out. I've walked in faith in everything that I've done so far in the past couple months, and just did it. And he showed himself to me like that. I got you every step of the way. So whatever you decide to do, know that God's got your back, and he's not going to leave you, and he's not going to forsake you. And whatever your faith action is, whatever it is, know that he's always going to be with you, and he's not going to leave you out hanging out there if it's in his will. So don't go do something, that you shouldn't be doing, like getting in a bad relationship with someone that's no good for you, in hopes that they will change, or be that person that you desire them to be, or be that person you desire God to be, God desires to have for you. But, don't be foolish, So that's my my call to action, is do something you've never done before. Or even if you've done it before and you just got really scared and you retracted and you said, okay, this is too scary for me, I'm not going to do it. But do something, that you've never done before, whether it's spend some more alone time, for yourself, and or just be by yourself for a while. Don't go to relationship to relationship. Do something that you've never done before. Treat yourself out, on a movie night or a date. Start that business. If you have a gift, use it. Don't let it go to use. Not go to use. If you have it, use it. And don't be scared to show people what it is. Whatever it is, do something that you've never done before. And do it knowing that God is there with you. And that is my call of action to you all. Change. All right. Have a great evening. Bye-bye.